What's up, nerds? Beat 'em ups are fun. This is fairly universal, more or less. Anyone who's played one within the extent of their memory can tell you that. The plot's never really all that great, but in a beat 'em up, no one ever really cares about that, because it's just too much fun to beat the bloody snot out of every single thing that comes your way. In my opinion, the best beat 'em ups are the ones that are an excuse to have a power trip, while still hitting you with boss fights that require you to use tactical thinking and well-timed counters to beat them. And the counters don't always have to be a literal counter button. It can be as simple as an opening to rush a combo into, or a glowing target to throw something in. Or it can be shoving an entire box of nails into some dude's mouth. Kiryu, calm the hell down. And in my opinion, one beat 'em up that nails this line of thinking is the Legend of Korra video game. To clarify, I'm talking about the Steam/console version, as the 3DS version is a Fire Emblem clone that I may give a try one day. Who knows? I know that licensed games get a bad rap in general, to the point where they're nearly extinct these days, but there's some honest gold out there. SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom is so good it got a flippin' remaster. I personally always thought the Incredibles game for GameCube was a ton of fun. On the subject of movie beat-em-ups, the TMNT movie game is pretty good, with decent platforming challenge. But Legend of Korra had a bigger disadvantage than most. Before the uninformed, Legend of Korra is a TV series that acts as a sequel to Avatar: The Last Airbender, where we follow the titular character, who is the next Avatar after Aang. And to a lot of die-hard Avatar fans, the show did not meet expectations. Though I have to be honest, I do not see the argument. I love Legend of Korra, I think it's great. So I might honestly do an in defense of video for the proper show at some point. Let me know if you'd like to see that down in the comments below. So, it's a licensed game, which is generally viewed as bad by default. It's from a series that received heavy criticism from the fan base. And it's a beat 'em up, which some gamer snobs would say is a lazy gameplay style choice. So, what did this game have going in its favor? Well, for one, its developer, Platinum Games. If that sounds familiar, that's probably because you're a fan of Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, and I cannot blame you if you are. Platinum has put out some of the best beat 'em up and hack and slash games out there that aren't in the Warriors brand. So they know pretty well what they're doing in a game like this. Another thing they had going for them was original animation for the game's few cutscenes, all done in the style of the show, and it looks so good that you'd think it's from the show. The game introduces you to the basic button inputs by throwing Korra into a massive brawl, single-handedly taking on an army of dark spirits in the spirit world. You get a brief bit of time to test out each of the 4 element stances before Korra gets overwhelmed and the screen fades to a week earlier, where she, Mako, and Bolin are participating in a charity pro-bending tournament. This game takes place immediately after Season 2, as the announcer for the match directly mentions the Unalaq Showdown. Mako and Bolin both get insta-jobbed, and you, as Korra, have to solo the entire enemy team. The pro-bending rule set doesn't really matter in this mode, but the simple part is you're locked into your basic water-bending combos and you gotta throw everyone over the side. Once you do that, Korra's walking home when she sees an old man surrounded by chi blockers. They bolt and the old man vanishes into shadows. Korra gets hit by darts and passes out. When she comes to, she sees the old man giving instructions to the chi blockers. We then immediately learn that Korra has lost her bending powers, and she begins her escape, where the game officially starts. We have access to the movements of our different bending stances, but without your actual bending itself, you don't hit all that hard. Luckily, the game has a block button that, if timed right, will let you counterattack hard enough to one-shot any non-boss enemy that you'll run into. So for this first level, you're best off playing defense game. Korra makes it to an open street, but there's too many chi blockers for her to fight her way out. Luckily, Naga shows up just in time to get her out of there, and the game gives us our first Naga running sequence. These are basically temple run levels, Your speed gradually increases as you play, but resets if you die and reload at a checkpoint. You can shift between 3 lanes, do a brief slide, and a jump. You have to use this moveset to dodge all the obstacles in order to reach the goal. By this point, you've noticed that the player is constantly collecting these wisps. They're spirit energy, and you can use them between levels to purchase upgrades and power-ups. Now there's 3 I recommend you get as quickly as possible. In order of importance, first is the healing water. You can hold 3 at a time, and these will restore your health to full when you're in a pinch. Second is the sacred water, which acts as a 1-up and will revive you automatically 1 time once your health hits 0. Finally, get this purple talisman. It's useless to you right now, but trust me, it'll be crucial if you want to reach your max strength quickly. Korra makes her way to Air Temple Island, hoping for advice from Tenzin, but Jinora's spirit reaches out to her instead. Jinora will be acting as our Navi, pointing us in the right direction at specific points in the game. She points out that among the many jars across the island, 4 of them contain spirit water that can help restore her bending. Fun fact, there's actually an achievement in this game for breaking a ton of these jars. Once you fight through enough Equalists, you manage to unlock your water bending.
I can feel my energy coming back! I got my waterbending back!
Waterbending is best used for zoning, attacking safely from a distance or reaching otherwise out-of-reach opponents. But it doesn't hit very hard, so it's not ideal for damage. You're then attacked by a Triad Earthbender, which is 1/3 of the first boss character. Triad Benders have the same movesets as Korra does for their respective element, and I consider the Earthbenders to be the weakest of the 3 you'll run into. He hits insanely hard, but his attacks are slow and very choreographed. So if you get hit, it's not so much his skill as it is your own fault. What makes the Triads an easy first boss character is that they can counter you. Now, I know that sounds like a bad thing, but all you have to do is move the stick in the direction they move to turn their counter into your own. More often than not, it's actually ideal to get in their faces to improve the chances of getting countered so you can safely hit them for more damage. While Korra takes on 3 Triads at once, let's talk about how this game nails the progression of learning. The first couple of stages make absolutely certain that you understand how certain mechanics work at any one time. The instant you get access to waterbending, you have a lot more people attacking you from a distance, requiring you to master waterbending's range capabilities. The next stage brings us back to Republic City, where we are introduced to chi blockers with shock gloves. The shock attacks from these guys can't be blocked or countered, so the only way to deal with these guys is to dodge out of the way. And as you purchase upgrades for your bending, your dodge flip will receive different properties that you can use depending on the element you're currently equipped with. For waterbending, you can shoot a water bolt at your opponent as you're dodging out of the way to return fire. When you're in the Naga running sequence, waterbending creates a one-time shield that will protect Naga from anything that isn't a one-hit KO, and can be recharged upon its disappearance. Then, once you get far enough, you run into a Mecha Tank, another boss character, and one of my personal favorites. If you blindly attack these things, they are gonna destroy you. Luckily, Jinora tells you that in order to regain your earthbending, you need to perform counterattacks. So if you hadn't mastered it back before you had any of your bending, you're gonna need to know now.
Yes! I did it! I can earthbend again!
Earthbending is the hardest hitting combos in the game, but they are also the slowest, so you need to time your first attack just right to safely connect. Once you do, they will be stun locked into being obliterated by your entire combo. When you get the dodge upgrade, you raise a block of rock to attack an opponent that was in front of you as you retreat, and in the Naga running sequences, it'll temporarily allow you to double jump until it wears off, then it needs to recharge again. Jinora tells you that this problem is coming from the spirit world, so she has to get to the South Pole's spirit portal immediately. So we Naga run over to the docks where Varric's ship is waiting for us and beat the crap out of another mecha tank before peacefully negotiating information out of the Equalist pilot.
Hope you can swim.
Once you get to the South Pole and smack a Triad Waterbender, you have to rack up a 30-hit combo to unlock your Firebending. By this point in the game, your Waterbending will be leveled up enough to have a Spirit Gauge, where if you charge a light or heavy attack, you can enter a super state where your bending is powered up, and as your bending levels up, the Spirit Gauge gains more tiers. The higher the tier that you charge into your super meter, the more powerful your bending is. Enter this first level state with waterbending and you'll be able to nail the combo count easily.
That's it! I've got it! I got my firebending back!
Firebending is the most aggressive stance in the game. Every attack is followed up by 1 or 2 fireballs that circle around you as you're punching. When you're powered up, you attack even faster until you're eventually moving with the speed and intensity of a freaking Dragon Ball character. Don't believe me? Check this out!
I got my firebending back!
Also, the dodge upgrade for firebending is allowing you to have a quick jet burst, with the duration of its burst being increased if you're in the heightened spirit super modes. And in the Naga running sequences, it lets Korra for a brief amount of time shoot fireballs at incoming obstacles to clear the path for Naga to make traversal a little bit easier. Travel a little bit further throughout the South Pole and you eventually reach the Spirit Portal, where you have to start landing some last-second dodges in order to learn how to airbend.
Pretty close now. Ha! Yes! I've got it! I can airbend!
Airbending, as far as I can tell, is the most busted element in this game. It's death by a million cuts. When powered up to max, it becomes death by 1,000,000,000,000 cuts. With an AoE that covers the entire screen, and because the attack continues after the combo animations are finished, you can infinitely loop into itself, making it so that your opponent never even gets to fight back. After unlocking airbending and getting thrown into the Spirit Portal to begin the next level, stop progressing the game. Equip that purple talisman I was talking about at the beginning of the video, and go back and play the earlier missions. That talisman doubles as experience gained for your element, at the expense of half your health. With this tool, you'll be able to get every element to your max level in just under 1 hour. Whereas without it, it'll take at least 3 hours to get the same result. So now that Korra's in the spirit world, she has to fight dark spirits, but she can't take them out, she can only stun them. And once she's stunned enough of them, she unlocks her spirit bending.
Go in peace.
This stage is the one to replay if you are ever hurting for spirit energy, because if you spirit bend a dark spirit and let the full animation play out, you'll get a ton of spirit energy as you pacify the spirit. You can chain multiple spirits at once with this to get a massive haul of spirit points. Have I said the word spirit enough times in this paragraph? Soon enough, you'll get ambushed by this giant spirit, and it's the last boss character that can show up in stages. And if I'm being honest, he's kind of the weakest one. Even on harder difficulties, this thing's parry window is enormous, so its size is really misleading as an indicator of his strength. It's now that we finally face the old man and get answers. He calls himself Hundun, an ancient king from thousands of years ago who was defeated by the Avatar and sealed away in the spirit world. When Korra opened the spirit portals, she facilitated his means of revenge. Using the wealth he acquired while he was alive, he purchased the loyalties of the Equalists and the Triads. And with his dark magic, he corrupted and manipulated the spirits themselves. Using his magic, he attacks Korra mentally with 3 different stages of increasing strangeness, until finally attacking her with his army, at last catching us up to where we were at the start of the game. Korra centers her mind and spirit alike, and reawakens her link to the Avatar state.
To fight another is to fight yourself. Let go.
Give it up, Hundun. The Avatar is back.
The Avatar state is not your super mode. The Avatar state is not your hyper mode. The Avatar state is your God mode. Each light attack is a massive elemental blast that wrecks literally every opponent in the game. You can hold the strong attack to charge up a literal explosion of elemental energy that eviscerates everything on the map with multiple hits. With this power, Hundun's entire army is no match for you. Left with no other recourse, Hundun reveals his true form and faces you himself.
Now you will truly face the chaos.
Hundun is my favorite fight in the game. You have to watch his attacks to know when to land the counter and follow up with a combo or 3. When he goes for his lunging attack, you can counter him and barrage him with a super satisfying onslaught of attacks. I love doing it. But you gotta get the timing just right, and you gotta even be aware of your positioning so that you dodge the lightning that rains down as he begins his lunge. The second phase is when he occasionally retreats off the main battlefield and you have to snipe him with water bending while dodging his attacks. I'll admit, this is not a great part of the boss fight, as it does pad it out much longer than it needs to be. When he phases again, he'll occasionally erect elemental barriers, but the time he spends in these barriers leaves himself open enough to fully charge your spirit meter in order to hit him with your strongest combos. Finally, you get put into a scripted avatar sequence where losing is literally impossible without physically putting down the controller. Korra beats Hundun into paste, and Spirit bends him to erase his threat permanently. You play a full game of pro bending against the Wolf Bats as the credits roll on a very solid beat 'em up. Maybe not a great one, but definitely a solid one. I won't pretend the story is enough to be called good, but it's serviceable enough to facilitate some excellent combat and fun level traversal without insulting the pre-existing lore of the Avatar verse. Combat is simple enough that anyone can pick it up and have it figured out after 2 minutes of screwing around. The boss characters have just enough difficulty to make them challenging without being a nuisance. And if it's challenge you genuinely want, then play this game on the max difficulty and see how quickly you'll find yourself depending on those healing and revival items against even basic enemies. This might be controversial, but I give this game an 8 out of 10. Korra's platforming skills are not always consistent, and Naga's levels feel bland and repetitive. Combine that with the mindless repetition of its bonus pro bending mode, and it doesn't have a lot of long game session standing power. It's good for a quick power trip, but if you play for too long, you will get bored pretty fast. This game is just like the show. It's not quite as good as I think creators intended it to be, but it still has excellent quality that can be seen and appreciated by those with minds open enough to see them. Thank you guys so very much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss an upload. Check out my buddy Tyler Crux. He does a lot of fun stuff on his channel, like this video. Definitely check it out if you haven't already. I'll catch you later, nerds. Go in peace.